Welcome back to another episode of the Advisor AI Solutions Podcast, where we explore how sustainability leaders are using innovation, systems, and smart strategies to scale their impact. I'm your host, Jordan Salvador, founder of Advisor AI Solutions Podcast, and today's guest is doing truly transformational work on the ground and all around the world. Clayton Ferreira is a key leader at Ideas for Us, a globally recognized nonprofit that turns grassroots environmental ideas into funded, scalable action. Clayton, thank you for thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. It's an honor. I was really excited to learn about what you're doing, and I think that this is a really important sector that doesn't get enough attention. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Clay, maybe we'll just dive in here. You mind telling us, little bit about your role at Ideas for Us?
Yeah, of course. So I'm CEO of Ideas for Us, and I'm also one of the co-founders of the organization. We started in a dorm room back in 2008 as a student club. And back then, we were very clear in this need for environmental action. Eco action was severely underfunded, underpublicized, and underutilized compared to environmental advocacy. And we wanted to be the boots on the ground, shovel in hand solution to energy, water, food, waste, and ecology issues across the world. But we had to start somewhere. So our thinking at that time, back in 2008, when there were no sustainability directors on campus across the country, right, was to have a student club that brought together intergenerational, interdisciplinary ideas and leadership on campus aimed at solving sustainable development issues hyper locally. So my role in the organization has been helping to develop the relationships and find the funding that's required to achieve that and to continue to experiment with it. But I'm happy to say that after nearly 18 years of doing this, the organization has evolved tremendously. We're now a United Nations accredited NGO doing work in nearly 40 countries around the world. We're a bona fide 501c3 nonprofit, and we're a serious job maker in the areas in which we operate. And so innovation isn't something we shy away from, right? And I would say that we have definitely been more than just curious in implementing lots of things into who we are and what we do. This year, not only are we integrating more AI into the things we do than ever before, we're also looking at the role that things like cryptocurrency play in philanthropy, right? And we are leaving no stone unturned in that endeavor as well. When many legacy environmental nonprofits are shying away from that niche, we're a millennial and Gen Z run organization since the beginning, and these are things we're not afraid of. So that's the kind of transformation I'm looking to lead in the organization right now.
That's absolutely beautiful. The transformation and the growth that you've seen since 2008. Maybe enlighten us a little bit about, you guys touching on the crypto side of things?
Yeah, for sure. So, because cryptocurrency can be converted into different things and it's ultimately both fungible and transformable, it can turn back into fiat currency. So we always saw that as an anchor to traditional philanthropy. But you also have people who are in the crypto scene who have experienced wild, unprecedented gains of wealth coupled with massive tax burdens. And this is a glorious sweet spot for 501c3 nonprofits in the United States, especially because this is an extraordinary asset for us to move forward and and embrace, right? Because for instance, there is philanthropy that's spontaneous. There is philanthropy that's very calculated in how it is achieved. And I think that this is a boat organizations shouldn't miss. It can be something as simple as on your donation page accepting various forms of cryptocurrency, right? And there's teams and tools that we've encountered that facilitate this in these landing and donation pages for a percentage. There's others where we've encountered people who code and are in this space that want to work pro bono for us to set these things up internally for us because we are a nonprofit and because this is an exciting space. So we're looking to pilot something between September 1st and December 31st in some beta testing, and then go live in 2026 with a very targeted campaign, of people in this space. And I think that's just how organizations need to be thinking now, especially if you're in the United States. Everything is crazy right now, right? And certainly that's not unique to many other places around the world too.
That's absolutely amazing. I commend you guys for taking that step forward and taking account of any innovations, and diving into something that potentially is the future. So that's amazing, and being more versatile as far as being able to fund some of the projects.
For
Um,
sure. People don't realize, you know, just this unbelievable economy, right, that has been created with the internet, right, and with data and with now cryptocurrencies, right, that utilize a blockchain, right. But I remember I had a friend in college where he built a bot to basically go fishing in a RPG video game online, and this bot would harvest fish all day long, 24/7, controlled through a robot running on his computer. And he would then sell the fish or points that, or whatever it was that he had experienced points that he had gotten from doing this all day long. And it would literally arrive in his account after he would sell it. And then we would go to dinner and he would buy real fish and eat it. And I said, you really should do a TEDx talk about how you turn digital fish into real fish through coding. And he said, I don't want to do that because then everyone will start doing this too. So that kind of opened my eyes to the fact that this is not just for play or imaginary. This is very, very real. And as a millennial, I know Gen Z is so much more influenced by technology. Gen A is 4 or 5 times as much as them. Now we've got Gen B starting January 1, 2025, right? So we're now in a whole new generation in Gen B, and now this is a first generation of people who've never been alive without AI,
right.
right? And I mean, wowzer, right? In what that just means for the future, for sure. I mean, I remember life before the internet, right? Barely, right? But now kids today don't know life without AI.
Absolutely. It's definitely a rapidly changing atmosphere. Um, and as far as you did mention that you guys are operating in what 40 over 40 countries.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you mind touching on some of you guys' big projects or
Of
anything
course,
groundbreaking at
of
the
course, of
moment?
course. I would be happy to. So, 2012, we got the opportunity to first become a UN accredited NGO from some of our work that got recognized by the Obama
Congratulations, by the
administration.
way.
Hey, thank you. It was a scaling of a program called Kill a Watt in partnership with the Department of Energy across the United States. Kill a Watt was a campus program around using behavior change, not taking the elevator in your dorm, using the stairs, unplugging all the stuff in your dorm room, turning the air conditioning up so it's not constantly freezing and icing over, these kinds of things in a dorm to dorm competition, just on behavioral change. And we wound up scaling it and saving so much money at each one of these college campuses that they were thrilled. So as it scaled across many different campuses, we wound up getting recognized for this and receiving a Champions of Change award from the Obama administration, and leveraged that recognition to then apply to the UN to become what's called a special consultative status NGO, and to receive this accreditation through ECOSOC. So we did that, and this catapulted us onto the international stage. We were in our early 20s then, and were suddenly able to badge into the UN in Manhattan and Geneva and Vienna and go to these conferences that would bring us in contact with other young people from around the world. And we had an ethic in our organization that we'd never expand anywhere unless we're invited by someone from that country. And that's our ethic to this day. We literally only go places that we're invited to by people from those countries to have us help them. And so that started happening because myself and my colleague and co-founder of Ideas for Us, the nonprofit, and all of this, Chris Castro, started speaking at UN Youth Blast and running different kinds of workshops called Organizing for Action, right? Because there's organizing for advocacy and protest, and then there's organizing for action, right? And these are different things. So the nice thing, though, is that the model of this can be transplanted and reimagined and reutilized in many different places across the world. So we started trying our hand at expanding into different projects and programs, and hey, maybe something created in Nepal could have the same metrics and key performance indicators and logic model and theory of change and work in Uganda as well, right? And lo and behold, because many of the sustainability issues are shared across different places, this was the case, right? And we were then able to replicate and scale at a level because we focused on the creation of models that were replicable, and we're not reinventing the wheel every single time, right? So that really, and then we also have the fortunate aspect of many of the people that we were dealing with already had a good command of English because they were often achieving visas, traveling to the United States, right, internationally, entering the UN as delegates. They not only were they highly motivated, highly capable, highly conscientious young people, but then we didn't have a language barrier, right?
Right.
So this was a major upper hand, right? To where if I spoke a different language, that wouldn't be the case. Everyone wouldn't know German, for instance, right? But everybody knew English. So that was very interesting for us. And that was how we started to spread internationally, and certainly opened our eyes to so many different things. I'd say some countries that we have a particular focus on would be Liberia in West Africa, also Guinea in West Africa. Literally before I am here speaking to you, I was on a call with a gentleman from Nigeria who is working on teaching women to farm and become entrepreneurs once they've been
Wow.
rescued from human trafficking, so that they can have an income. Because if they don't have an income, of course, they often default back into the only thing they've ever known,
Right.
even if they have struggled to freedom. So we also do a lot of work in Nepal and in Romania and in Bolivia. And we have ceased some projects in Haiti right now. And we actually brought our international branch leader to Orlando as a refugee because Haiti is so crazy right now. So we're
Wow.
going through this process of trying to help him remain here without seeking asylum, because if he seeks asylum, he can never go home again, right? But
Right.
if we're able to work out some other ways of extending his visa, then we could be in a very good position in helping him stay here, not for the long term forever, but enough to let things blow over, which may take a few years given Haiti's situation. We've
Right.
done a lot of stuff in post atrocity countries, I guess I'll call it. Liberia had a terrible civil war. We've done work in Rwanda, right? We've done work in Democratic Republic of the Congo right now, which is absolutely horrific.
Right.
So, certainly these places have their unique elements to them for sure, but you also have the hallmarks of sustainable development, economic, social, and environmental progress, right, serving as a constant, right, through these programs. It's just a matter of how you wind up applying it in those particular situations.
Wow. Clay, it does seem like you guys have your hands in everything and everywhere. But for the greater good of humanity, and I commend you guys for your guys' hard work and efforts. Um, but with that being said, how do you guys, stay organized, or even, how do you focus on or determine which projects should be funded and prioritized and all of that?
Well, I'd like to say it's just from good taste alone, but we do have systems that help us, right? So we know enough to be dangerous from our own experience, of course, but in running a dynamic organization, right, we have a clear operating system for it, right? I would say that it's kind of a blend of metrics that each staff member has that they're aimed at hitting as a goal. We have very concise, organized meetings with each other where we're focusing on deliverables and objectives and obstacles in particularly. And all of these things are being assigned numbers, deadlines, and things like that. And we have systems in place to record and communicate all of this, right? So certainly we have mission critical things, right, that we focus on, that are kind of beating heart of the organization, both a kind of outreach and education element, a fundraising element to power the projects, an institutional marketing element, and essentially then just shoot from the hip and wing it.
I love that.
And so that's certainly an element of it too, because all the systems in the world shouldn't negate surprise and even, dare I say, chaos,
Right.
because most organizations face becoming boring or becoming ineffective if they're not embracing some of the chaos, at least to create new projects and new programs with new solutions.
Right.
So, really, 20% of our time is spent on the transmutation of chaos from a disaster into an opportunity. I'd say probably about 60% of our time is on bread and butter initiatives that drive our revenue and our brand and our objectives forward. And another 20% to round out to the full 100 is based on aspirational aspects and things that
Right.
we're reaching for as a kind of institutional marketing methodology. And that's kind of how we structure ourselves. And uh, internal communication is even more important than external communication, honestly, because there have been times where we've been very focused on internal communication and we go, oh crap, we've been doing all these projects. We haven't been telling anybody about them. We haven't been posting. We haven't been doing these things. We should really do that because we're so engrossed in actually doing the work.
Right. Right. Well, it sounds like you guys have you're casting quite a wide web. And speaking of communications, that's got to be such a struggle. But it sounds like you guys from the bottom up have it quite dialed in and quite structured. From data and analytics. And that's something you guys should be proud of. Um, but yeah, so in the next say 6 to 12 months, where would you guys, where would you like to see ideas for us, be?
Well, we're definitely creating new models of revenue, and what we've realized is that there's a niche of creating kind of impact sector plans. And what I mean by that is the impact sector is the three sectors that people may or may not know about. You've got the public sector of government, you've got the private sector of businesses, and then you have the independent sector of nonprofits. So government, businesses, and nonprofits. And often you have to get all three of them to work together if you're going to create a significant, especially systemic change. And managing that is very hard. So that's an opportunity because we manage that very well.
Right.
And we are working on some wonderful pilot projects that have gotten funded. And we're going to be kind of testing out some new methodologies and new ways of thinking about problems. We're designing a lot of different AI related things that can help us. We're integrating with a lot of existing big data, right? Big data programs, things like Google Sunroof to run AI simulations of renewable energy installations. We're even working with nuclear engineers on small reactor concepts and smart grids. So I'm really excited because we'll get a chance to look at things differently and do some experimentation. And that's what our next 6 months will look like.
That sounds so cutting edge, and like where you guys are at right now, as far as nonprofits go. For myself, at least, and I mean, no offense, but that's something that caught me off guard from this conversation. How advanced things have changed in even a short while.
Yeah, as I like to say, it's not just tree hugging and solar panels. That's a big part of modern environmentalism, right? But it's not all that, right? There's a lot more, right? There's economic development and lifting people out of poverty. There's strategies to drive down energy cost and shrink supply chains and enhance localism, right? There's lots of job creation and data analysis and looking at diversity, equity, and inclusion, right, as an asset in communities
Right.
for sure. So these are really important things, and they 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 maths. You make people happier. They're less prone to killing themselves. They're less prone to getting addicted to substances. They're less prone to wind up in jail. They're less prone to default on their mortgages. Sustainable development is absolutely the way through for a lot of the problems that we face. And here we are in the 21st century, so people need to get it together and start thinking differently for sure.
Absolutely. It's all about getting that message out there, and all the work you guys are doing should be echoed throughout. So
Well, thank
once
you so
again,
much.
I commend you guys.
Thank you so
Um, now, Clay, just before we wrap up here, just a couple of questions. Um, if you had a magic wand and you can change anything in the world as far as any issues or challenges that you guys are facing as far as growing, fundraising, what would that one thing be?
That's quite the question. I would say that, well, I would say that having more help would certainly be of great help. And certainly help comes in different forms, right? So certainly money is an important aspect of that, but to say that I just need more money isn't all the problem. If you have a lot of money, you need things to buy, right? You need talented staff to hire. You need the wisdom to know what to do with it,
Right.
right? So it's not just a matter of funding. And some organizations chase the funding exclusively, and they often get themselves in serious trouble. I've seen more organizations die in my experience in my nonprofit career from saying yes to the wrong funding than have died from running out of funding.
Hmm.
So funding isn't the answer, right? Most nonprofits start completely broke in a dorm room, a garage, a barn, a classroom, a parking lot, right? Whatever it is. And when they're born, they have no money and they've got a bunch of impassioned people. The worst thing to have happen is a full bank account and nobody who cares,
Right. No
right?
strategy.
No worse, no board showing up, no employees wanting to work there, no real measurable impact, just maybe even the aspect of just ineffective programs, right? So there's a lot worse out there than just no money. That's for sure.
Okay. No, I agree there. That's a great insight. Now, Clay, if you weren't doing this, doing the great work that you've been doing for the last, couple decades or almost couple decades, what would you be doing instead?
Oh, well, I'm a biologist and I'm a naturalist, so I would probably be overseeing a museum collection or in the classroom teaching biology. I would possibly be going out into nature and continuing research that I've done. I've done research on evolutionary biology with lizards and sea stars, and like conservation related work. But because the world is on fire, I'm in the nonprofit sector, and that's what I do. So if the world was not on fire, I'd kind of be like a modern Darwin, you know, looking at barnacles all day
That's absolutely terrific.
in my library.
Well, thank you for all the hard work you put in and taking the time aside. Um, and last but not least, Clay, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners? Perhaps a message, an invitation, or an idea that we haven't touched on?
Of course, I'd like to just extend a thank you for your attention in this and a invitation to reach out. So anyone watching, you can reach me directly at clay@ideasforus.org. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Facebook as Ideas for Us with a blue check. We are also on Instagram. We've got ideasforus.global and ideasforus.orlando to highlight some work happening at our headquarters. But if you are interested in the work that we do or think we can help you in any way, we always partner with organizations, businesses, designing a multitude of employee engagement opportunities, working with everyone from Louis Vuitton to Tesla to General Motors to AT&T and many, many, many more. So thank you. I appreciate everyone listening and hope to be back soon to chat some more.
Wonderful, Clay. Well, this was fantastic. Thank you again for sharing your your story, your incredible work with ideas for us and what you guys are doing. And to our listeners, if you guys are passionate about climate action and community-driven change, head over to the Ideas for Us websites and check out their global projects. But until next time, guys, we'll see you in the next one. This is Jordan Selver with the Advisor AI Solutions Podcast. Have a great one.